All right, looks like they're packaged nice and tight. Let's see what's in here. Plenty of protective packaging. I'll get these out and put them on the desk. All right, so each product comes in its own protective foam sleeve, very nice packaging, and its own template. They showed up in perfect condition, very well packaged. Looks like some high quality stuff. Nice finish, very lightweight, but rigid. And I opted for the Radiator, the rain drip, catch pan here. All the hardware and instructions that come with it. So let's get to work. Okay, get yourself a clip tool. Start pulling this insulator off. Start at the bottom and finish at the top so it doesn't fall on you. With the hood insulator off, then you can mark the center line of the hood. Take your time on this. Don't rely on your taping skills. You can see how it's a little off with the tape, but the center line is the center. Get some reference points on the edge of the hood to go off of. And double check your measurements. You're gonna need a couple people, 2 people to do this. Center vent is taped down and placed correctly. Really take your time. Can't emphasize that enough. It's off just like a hair, but I'm gonna roll the dice and leave it. And the side, you're gonna go 20 inches up from this leading edge, 6.5 inches from the edge of the hood here, and then 5.5 inches from the edge of the hood here. So 5.5, 6 inches. Again, you take your measurements, line them all up, tape it down. Worthwhile note, position the vent template in a rough proximity as to where it should be, and then put your blue painter's tape around, and then mark your final dimensions more precisely from there. Measurements are triple checked. Blue tape is down, templates are down, templates are taped on. Now it's time to take the hood off, bring it outside, and prepare to cut. Side vents are cut. Just wanted to talk about what I did here. So I'm using a jigsaw, using a fine tooth for metal. And in the corners I have to drill some holes. So I start out with a smaller bit, maybe like a 5/32, and then I bore the 3/8 hole. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. It's going pretty quick. Next I'll cut out the center vent and wash it. I'll cut out the center vent, drill all the holes for the rivets, wash it, dry it, rivet, and done. Okay, miraculously it's finished, right? Ran into some time constraints and as with any project, some challenges, not in regards to the product, but just the skill that I have. I'm not a technician, so I had to really think about what I was trying to do. Key takeaways: you need 2 people, period. Make sure you have a good rivet gun. Measure twice, 3 times, 4 times, and have somebody else check your measurements. Do all that work up front. And then once you start drilling and cutting, it goes pretty quick. It's pretty easy. The riveting, just follow the instructions, start in the center and work your way out. The measurements, I went 13 inches from the leading edge of the hood to the front of what would have been the template, and that worked pretty good. But there is a rib right there, and boy, if I was shorter than 13 inches, I couldn't really be able to get a rivet in there. So a little better shot of it. So 13 inches, yeah, it worked. Don't do any less. 13 and a quarter it was at, and we moved it to 13. 13 and a quarter would have been better. 13 and 3/8. You can probably get that washer on there. I couldn't get a washer on in this one, but it's solid. It's not going anywhere. And kind of a funny situation. Gotta kind of laugh at it. I usually go crazy, but got everything all riveted on. Was washing the hood off. Just about ready to put the hood back on. I realized I forgot to put the radiator drip tray on. So drilled out 4 rivets, put the drip tray on, and good to go after that. Again, 2 people critical. When you're fitting the vents on, the hood with the tape and template still on. So this would be after you cut the holes out and you're getting ready to drill holes for the rivets. Set the vent in, line it up with the template that's still on there. The template will most likely be covered up a bit with painter's tape. So find the leading edge underneath the painter's tape and make sure that vent's lined up with the template, because that template was what you measured with. The vents will have slop, but will have play. So line up the edges of the vent with the edges of the template, and then drill some holes in the center. Put your rivets in the center or in the middle of the vent. And once those are secure, then you can start drilling and pop riveting in the remaining. But get a couple in there first, and then drill and pop rivet later. Don't mark them all and drill them all and then expect the vent to fit. Doesn't work. Don't ask me how I know that. So, pretty cool. This is something that I've been wanting for a while. Just never had the courage to do this, and no regrets. Fits great. Follow the instructions. Measure a bunch of times. And if you're sensitive to messes and clutter, and just if you don't like messy stuff, take the hood off, bring it outside, cut it somewhere where you're not going to be sensitive to fiberglass dust everywhere. And that's it. Look forward to trying it out at Road America.